Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sally's Astrology Book Club. Our book this month is The Luminaries by Liz Green and Howard Sesportis. In the late 90s, they teamed up to present a series of lectures on the planets and on psychological astrology. And fortunately, those lectures were transcribed in these, I think, 4 volumes in the series. And so it's always so fascinating to hear trained psychologists who also practice astrology describe the architects of the different planets and aspects. In the Luminaries, Liz Green and Howard Sesportis are focusing on the moon and the sun. Now, Liz Green in her lecture on the moon talks about mothers and matriarchy, and how we process the moon, how we experience the moon in our lives. She says, while the solar world is very enduring, we almost get a sense of working towards immortality when we're using our solar energy. The moon is very much about the body and about life itself, which is flux and change, and that things don't always happen because we will them to be. Things will happen. Things are out of our control. That we're born, that we're die, all things that we don't really choose. And different things happen to us throughout life where we have to learn to process them. And so she is very interested in talking about how we can connect with that lunar energy in our life and find ways that we ourselves can kind of make ourselves feel comfortable and safe and secure without needing to project fears and anxieties out into the world and depending on others to do it for us. You know, she sees life very much as a personal journey, an inner journey. And so when I was thinking about someone who could demonstrate to us the importance of the lunar energy in our lives, I thought of Barbie. The movie's been really hot this summer. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the movie. And so the person who really midwifed Barbie and brought her into the world was Margot Robbie. And so Margot Robbie she has a production company with her husband. The goal is to produce more work that has good parts for women. And so she was interested in this property, got the rights from Mattel, and hired Greta Gerwig to write and direct the movie. She was initially not going to play Barbie. She wanted Gal Gadot to play Barbie, but was turned down. And so fortunately for us, she decided to play Barbie herself, and of course did an amazing job of channeling just all the complexity of this character that we know as Barbie. So let's take a look at Margot Robbie's chart. We see that she is very well qualified to be someone exploring the lunar realms when you see all of the planets that she has in Cancer, including her sun and ascendant. We also see that she's got Jupiter right here with her ascendant, exalted in Cancer. And then we also see she's got Mercury in Cancer as well. And interestingly, too, Chiron in Cancer. Again, that's something I'm still kind of exploring and trying to figure out how exactly it functions in a chart. But you can see that she's very interested in playing parts for women, but yet creating a kind of emotional reality that speaks to the women who are watching her movies. And so we see then that she's got wonderful midwife energy, bringing Barbie into the world. We can see a lot of the power in her chart. She's got Mars in its own sign of Aries, angular in the 10th house. And she also has Saturn in its own sign of Capricorn, angular in her 7th house with her descendant. So showing the importance of a strong partner here with Saturn here. And Mars, too, that not taking no for an answer, that she's going to push a project through. and bring it out into the world. So all of these things, as we can see, create a T-square in her chart, which is, super powerful. That there's so much energy that she, from this opposition between Cancer and Capricorn, can project out very actively into the world. But of course, we have to explore this moon as well in her 5th house. And the moon is in Scorpio, where it's traditionally in its detriment, in its fall, where it has difficulty doing what it needs to do. But also you can think of a moon in Scorpio as someone who wrestles with dark or very complex, deep emotional issues. And so you think about initially this moon ruling her chart because she's Cancer rising. You can see it's a 5th house moon. And so the Barbie story, of course, is a children's toy, which are both 5th house things, and also something involving more women, the more feminine side of life. And so she's got all of these kind of lunar 5th house things, but yet it's in this very dark sign of Scorpio. And so we see that the Barbie story itself is not just about Barbie living in her perfect pink, sunlit, neon-colored world. She's got, that's how the movie starts, where, you see Barbie, her best day is every day, and every night is a dance party. And she just hangs out with her friends and has this great time. But then all of a sudden, Barbie says to one of her friends, "Do you ever think about dying?" And this is just like is an abrupt, jarring interruption into this perfect Barbie world. And this is that intrusion of the moon, and I think we might all sense that, we're going on just living our lives. And then one day it hits us. Oh my gosh, I'm mortal. I'm going to die someday. It just kind of crashes into you once in a while, that sense of your mortality. And so we see Barbie then begins to step out of this very solar, this very controlled world where everything is to her liking, into this very dark and unpredictable world called real life. And so she enters, she goes to Los Angeles, and she no longer has her powers. She's no longer super powerful. People think she's weird. And she struggles there. And then she further struggles because when she returns to her world, she finds that Ken has been indoctrinated by the real world into the concept of patriarchy, and she's lost her power there and has to work to regain it. And so this world is set up, this dichotomy is set up for Barbie in the story, where she has to choose eventually between living the Barbie life, in the Barbie dream house, the Barbie world, or does she go to her lunar nature and return to this very unpredictable, very messy world, which nevertheless contains great beauty and unknowns, things that could happen. It's almost like, in the end, it's a question between staying in childhood, where you feel kind of enclosed in a bubble, and entering the real world, where you have to deal with a lot of unpredictable elements and make your way through that. So I thought this was kind of an interesting way of looking at the moon from Liz Green's angle through the story that Margot Robbie, this very Cancerian woman, was able to share with us through the movie Barbie. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to talking with you next time. Bye.